residential school project since its inception. We really kind of debated on how we should manage that because we weren't ever really in agreement with the government being forced into this. We thought that it should come willingly, and we really deliberated about whether or not we would go into asking for the dollars, but we did because we had such a phenomenal need, and so many. I think at the time of the agreement, they projected 85,000 residential school survivors in Toronto. And I can tell you over half of those people were on the streets. And when the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was delayed, if you recall, a couple of years ago, there was this political strife, and it was for whatever reason it was delayed. And our survivors were saying, what? How, like we were waiting for that opportunity to tell our story. And so because of their age and because of the fragile nature of their health, we went ahead with our own Truth and Reconciliation at the Toronto Council Fire. We set our own commission. We funded it ourselves. We did the hard work. We sat over a course of, a year, maybe 2 years, listening intently to their stories and recording their stories. And as we listened, bringing our own medicine into the room and trying to take care and then sitting with the staff at Council Fire to say, we think, these people are really traumatized and really fragile. We need to do this. We need to start taking care of their spiritual health. We started doing, saying to them, like, well, we can fix this. We can do a feast and we can bring in the ancestors. So really starting, and they were really fearful, a lot of them, because these are residential school survivors who've been told they're going to go to hell. That if they don't say Hail Mary 15 times and kiss the feet of the Roman Catholic, whatever, and his ring, they're going to go straight to hell. So for us to bring in that smudge and to wrap our love around them with our kindness, it was a real courageous for them. The Skydome Powwow was here, and they did the grand entry when Buffy St. Marie was here. And our residential school survivors walked in the front of that grand entry. They were the heroes. They were our heroes. And we held them up as our heroes, and we thanked them for their courage to share with us their humiliation and their sorrow and their pain so that we could develop best practice. And they were the guinea pigs for us to see how do we deal, what's the best way to deal with post-trauma? What's the best way to deal with childhood sexual abuse? What's the best way to deal with grief unresolved for years and years and years? What's the best way to settle the souls and the spirits of those lovely little children that were stolen? We brought them home, and they're beautiful, and I'm so proud of them, because I don't know that I would have survived that. When I heard their stories, and then you know what, they felt bad for me, because when they told their stories, we all cried in disbelief that human beings could be treated in this way. And so that's what fuels us. That's what fuels us. It's got nothing to do with the government of Canada. It's got nothing to do with the Truth and Reconciliation. It's got to do with doing what's right. It's got to do with taking care of each other. It's got to do with being Haudenosaunee, Lenape, Anishinaabe. It's got to do with being part of creation. It's got to do with celebrating life. It's got to do with ensuring that the cycles of life continue. And that those precious gifts that are sent here to us through our women, those bundles of joy, that medicine that our ancestors send to us, it's to ensure that they have a chance, that when they come to this world, and when our children are born, when we hold those bundles of joy, that they'll have every opportunity to contribute to that same cycle of life. That they'll have every opportunity to celebrate. That they'll have every opportunity to enjoy. They'll have every opportunity to bring their good minds together with one another and show all of creation that we as human beings can be a part of this. That we can do our part. That we rule with compassion and kindness and care about each other. Care enough to ensure that the animals will always have a place. To ensure that there'll be enough water for everyone to drink. To make sure that these plants are acknowledged. To make sure that all of creation exists and has a right to exist. as the Creator intended. That's why we go forward. I want to see the day when you say, stick your money up your ass and keep it for yourself. You pitiful people. Shame on you. Shame on you that you can go around and tell the world that you can be proud of your G8 conditions. While the first people, the rightful owners of that crown land, the inherent owners of the gross domestic product, the inherent owners of the pine trees and the cedar and the hardwood lumber and the softwood lumber and the aggregates and the diamonds and the minerals. And yeah, indeed, the oil. We're the inherent owners of the Crown lands. 1763 Royal Proclamation is recognized in the world as a valid proclamation. Still has standing, it's law. And that's why the Indian Act's still in place. And Stephen Harper stood in the House of Commons not too long ago and said, I will not be repealing the Indian Act. He told all of Canada that legislated genocide will continue, that legislated racism will continue in this country, that in this country, this G8 country that they brag about, that's equitable and fair, that there's two classes of citizens, Indians and Canadians. And that's legislated. We weren't born Indians. We were born Lenape. We were born Haudenosaunee. We were born Anishinaabe. The government of Canada made Indians. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Because they made a second class. And they legislated.